And for the next book, we have The Rugged Road by Teresa Wallach. Um, this Teresa Wallach is an amazing woman. She and Florence Blanqueron rode across the continent of Africa in 1935, and they were the first people, man or woman, to do so. Their trip was 7,500 miles. This is an account of Teresa Wallach's thoughts and emotions and events of the day as they made their trip across the continent of Africa. Um, Not only did these women have to cross treacherous terrain and navigate without using a compass or without markers along the way or even roads in some places, they also encountered many animals, including gorillas and snakes and lions. And they had to make several repairs to their one motorcycle all along the way, including repairing its entire engine and having to make smaller replacements and adjustments, often using the clothing on their backs or creatively using the supplies that they had carried and brought along the way. You can get firsthand their thought process and their questions and the conversations that they have with people along the way. They meet some very nice people that help them and support them on their journey as well. Um, and you'll get allusions to their lives before this trip. And this is really where this book gets inspirational as well. Both of these women have been brave since the beginnings of their lives. Florence Blanqueron was one of the first women to break 100 miles an hour in a motorcycle. And Teresa Wallach got an engineering degree in college and used that knowledge to help her become really good at repairing motorcycles and other vehicles. Another fun fact is that Teresa Wallach came home from school one day to her parents and told them, "Mom and Dad, I am wearing pants now because I am going to ride motorcycles." And they did not know what to be more shocked at. These women are brave and inspirational. And from this book, you can gain the inspiration to cross some of the items off of your list that you are hoping to do. I hope you pick up this book, The Rugged Road. And next we have The Transmigration of Timothy Archer, and this is by Philip K. Dick. This story starts with a seance. Not very many people can say that about their lives, but Philip K. Dick says this about his own life, and he does it well. This is a true story. It is based on his friendship with James Pike, the Episcopal bishop, and Philip K. Dick renames James Pike Timothy Archer for the purposes of this story. The seance in question is a pivotal moment in Timothy Archer's life. Timothy Archer attends the seance with his wife Kirsten and his daughter-in-law Angel. The three of them meet a medium at this seance to talk with Jeff Archer, who is Timothy's son, who has recently passed after committing suicide, tragically. They meet with Jeff. They actually are able, they believe that they have met with him and that they are talking with him when Jeff breaks the news to Timothy Archer and his wife Kirsten that the two of them will also die within the year. They do not take this news well, and the rest of the year, while they are waiting to see what will happen, is very strange for the two of them. But the rest of the story is told from the point of view of Angel Archer, the woman in the background, the daughter-in-law to Timothy Archer, the widow to Jeff Archer, who's talking with them. While this year is pivotal for the three of them, for Angel Archer, it is a period of growth where she is able to reflect on her marriage, her relationship with Jeff Archer and Kirsten, two people who she loves deeply, and her own life. She's able to think more deeply about religion, about the anti-war movement, um, and she even um, thinks about her own education and her priorities in life, the effectiveness of education in helping her deal with real world problems. Um, and this book is a reflection of many of Philip K. Dick's own thoughts. His life was also very strange, and this is just one of the very interesting and out of left field events that really happened to Philip K. Dick, being caught in the crossfire of an event like this. And this story is one of the many real events that inspired much of his fiction, which he is also well known for. His fiction has inspired the movies Blade Runner, Total Recall, and Minority Report. And so in those movies, you'll see that often reality and fiction are blurred or mixed together, or you find components of both in one event, just as you do here in a story that is true. Read this book to find out more about Philip K. Dick and to get the chance to really jump into Philip K. Dick's mind. And finally, we have The Girl with Seven Names by Hyun-Soo Lee. This is the story of Hyun-Soo Lee's escape from North Korea. This all starts on one fateful night when she's living on the border of North Korea with her family, and she decides to cross the North Korean border into China. And this is marked by a frozen riverbed, which is easy to cross at night undetected. She does so and makes it to her family's friend's house, where she stays for several days, planning to return right away. In the meantime, her family calls her their friends urgently, and they say Hyunso cannot return. They discovered that she was gone. Um, the they meaning the North Korean authorities, after having done a census. And so she is no longer welcome back in North Korea because they know that she is gone, and if she returns, they will imprison her family. And so now Hyunso Lee is no longer welcome in her own home, despite being a young teenager with no real resources um, to her person because she left for such a short trip. Now in China, she spends the rest of the book um, working and putting in tons of effort to make life possible outside of North Korea, despite being an escapee, a non-citizen, someone who is not particularly welcome in China at this time. She has to learn new languages, she has to learn new job skills, and she has to acclimate to a culture that is completely different from everything that she was told while she was in North Korea. But what makes this story particularly interesting is her ability to just lay out all of her emotions as she feels them in this book. And this is particularly exciting for readers who can relate to these very real and human emotions. She is able to talk about the nostalgia that she feels for North Korea, despite it being a place that has made her so unwelcome. She talks about having to bribe people and feeling guilt when she has to forge her own way at the expense of someone else, although she tries not to do that. Um, she talks about having to experience loss, experiencing love, meeting new people, gaining independence, and finding out who she really is. And all of these emotions are very real and very relatable, and they put these events that are so hard to imagine into context. This story is amazing, and the things that she is able to accomplish all on her own are especially amazing. And she is someone that you can continue to follow up with today. After reading this book, you can check out more of her work, which she has published since. Read The Girl with Seven Names, and she does indeed have seven names, and you can read all of them in this book.